Welcome to the Jodiff Entertainment channel. I hope everyone is having a good day. Today, I will be reviewing a lot of the recently revealed new Yu-Gi-Oh cards. We actually have quite a few today, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Um, first, first we have uh, Magnet Warrior something plus. Level 4 Earth Rock Effect Monster, attack 800, defense 1900. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can destroy one other rock monster in your hand or face-up field, and if you do, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. And then when an earth monster on the field activates its effect, you contribute this card, then target one face-up monster on the field, change it to face-down defense position. So, let's see, hand or graveyard, destroy a rock in your hand or field and special summon it. And then when a earth monster activates tribute this card and target a monster and change it to face down defense. Okay, so um I to be honest, I think the best rock deck, to ever exist in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that Emancipator. I'm not sure if they can even use this card. I assume maybe. I don't know how they would get it in the graveyard. Um the effect to be able to place a monster face down seems like that might be decent going second. I think I can easily say this card is average. I don't think it's bad. It could be. It sounds like it's a decent extender. It sounds like it could um, try to out something on its own. If you're going second and it's on the board and you have another Earth on the field, I assume you would be playing other Earth monsters. As far as Magnet Warriors go, I don't think it really helps them that much. I don't think Magnet Warriors are that good in general. They would need a lot of support to be a better deck in 2025, but it's an average card. I don't see anything bad about it, but I don't see anything about the card that is necessarily strong. And remember, I don't remember every single Yu-Gi-Oh card in existence, so maybe there might be a way to abuse this card and it could be strong and I could be wrong. And if so, let me know in the comments. But because we have so many cards, let's go ahead and move on. The next card, this is a random card here. Let's see. This is a wake wake cup arrow. Level 7 wind aqua flip effect monster attack 2700 defense 400. If this card is in your hand, you can discard one other flip monster, and if you do, special summon this card in attack position or face down defense position. Flip, you can send face up cards your opponent controls to the graveyard up to the number of flip monsters you control. And during your end phase, you can target one flip monster in your graveyard, special summon it in face down defense position. The first effect is okay. You can basically special summon this card for free by discarding another flip monster, and it is a level 7, 2700, so it's kind of like a discard a flip monster and then get a free level 7. That's not amazing. The flip effect, you can send face up cards your opponent controls to the grave. I don't know how many flip monsters you would have, maybe one or two, so maybe you could do that. You could try to uh, send up to two cards that your opponent controls, face up cards. Doesn't seem that great. And then during the end phase, you can special summon basically the flip monster that you discarded, so it would get back the flip monster. That's a decent effect. Overall, I don't really know if this card would be seen. Well, I don't know if it'll see any play. Um, you could put it in average, but for now, I think even though it does have some decent effects, you know what? No, it's not a bad card. It might be the most average card that we read out of all of these cards today, but it's it's bare minimum average in my opinion, potentially bad or on the high end of bad. Um, I don't really play any flip effect decks. Maybe there's a way to abuse it, but I can't think of a way. I mean, I don't know if Mimigal has some way to use it effectively, but for now, I'll put it in average. Okay, so then next we have the new, and I haven't been switching the windows correctly, so you're able to see an ad here, but I try to, at least when we're on the tier list page, I try to block out the ads because then I know that can be annoying to see that, but I forgot to switch it. But let's go ahead and um, read these assault mode, these new assault mode cards. So the first card is a field spell, and dual evolution assault zone. When this card resolves, you can add one monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand that mentions assault mode activate. Assault mode monsters cannot be destroyed by battle or your opponent's effects the turn they are special summoned, and you can pay 2,000 life points once per turn. You can activate Assault mode activate by attributing a synchro monster in the extra deck. Um, this is a pretty good card for Assault mode. It has 3 nice effects. The first effect, searching, that's good. The ability to protect on the turn an assault mode monster is summoned is good. Being able to tribute a synchro in the deck or in the extra deck without requiring it to be unfilled is good. I think this card is probably on the high end of average, potentially strong. Um, Assault mode is not really a deck that I've played much, but I know, like, you have the assault mode Stardust Dragon, which I believe is a generic negate monster. I don't know what the rest of the cards do, um, except like Assault Beast. I think you can discard him to add Assault mode activate, and I think they have a newer. I think it might be a tuner or something like that. I don't really remember. Um, the card seems okay. I don't. There's nothing about it that I think is necessarily super strong, but it's it has 3 good effects, so I think it's pretty good. It might be on the low end of strong. You know what? We'll put it in strong, just because I mean it has 3 good effects. So moving to the next card, we have Nightwing Priestess. Level 8 Wind, Spellcaster, Synchro Effect Monster, 2500 attack and defense. It is generic. And then, if this card is special summoned, you can set one assault mode activate from your hand, deck, or graveyard. It can be activated this turn. You can discard one card, add to your hand, or special summon one monster from your deck that mentions assault mode activate. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except synchro monsters. So this card is 2500, 2500. It is generic. It's a level 8. A lot of decks have, there's different decks that have ways to make level 8 synchros. It sets Assault mode activate for free on summon, and then you can discard and summon any of the monsters that mention it, but you're locked into synchros for the rest of the turn. But that doesn't mean that you cannot summon from you cannot summon other types of monsters from the extra deck before you summon the Nightwing Priestess. I think this card is strong. Um, it sounds like a pretty good card for the deck. I think so far it is the strongest card that we have read. It's generic. It has 2 super helpful effects for Assault Mode Activate. And also, I just want to mention, just because I put cards in strong, it doesn't mean that I think the deck is going to be meta. It just means that, the card sounds like it's strong for the deck that it is used in. Um, it doesn't mean, like, a card can be strong, but it doesn't mean that that deck is meta. There's plenty of cards like that. Just to make that clear. So we'll put that in strong. I like that card. It has 2 nice effects, and being generic means you can make it easy. They probably had to do that because I don't even know if Assault Mode has a way to make a level 8 synchro consistently. But let's go ahead and read the next card. Assault Lich, level 4 Dark Zombie Tuner effect monster, attack 1500, defense 0. If this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon one monster that mentions Assault Mode activate, or one level 4 lower zombie monster from your graveyard. If this card you control would be used as synchro material, you can treat it as a non-tuner, and if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can add one Assault Slash or Assault Counter from your deck to your hand. So I think this card has three nice effects. On summon, it can revive a monster that mentions Assault Mode activate, or it can revive a zombie monster that is level 4 or lower. It can be treated as a non-tuner, and it can add Assault Slash or Assault Counter. Let's really quick see, are those new cards? Activate only while you control an Assault Mode monster. Destroy all face-up monsters on the field. Okay, Assault Slash is pretty good. Read Assault Counter. Activate only while you control an Assault Mode monster and get the activation of a spell trap. Or affect monsters effect and destroy it. Okay. You were able to read the effects there, but I read the effects, and I think that both of those cards are decent. So if we go back to their list, this card, it doesn't do a lot by itself actually. So I'll put it in average. It's a revive card for the most part. It does have a way to search, but for the most part, I think it's a revive card, and I think it deserves to be at the top of average for now. Not much else to say about that card. So moving on to the next card, we have Crimson Blader Assault Mode, level 10, Fire Warrior special summon effect monster. Attack 3300, defense 3100, cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned with Assault Mode activate. You can reveal this card in your hand, add one Assault Mode activate or one card that mentions it from your deck to your hand, then shuffle this card into the deck. Your opponent cannot activate the effects of level 5 or higher monsters special summoned from the extra deck. If this card is destroyed, you can special summon one Crimson Blader from your graveyard. Okay, so let's see. Reveal it, add any card that mentions Assault Mode activate or Assault Mode activate, and shuffle it. That's a good effect. It has a floodgate effect that your opponent cannot activate the effects of level 5 or higher monsters that were special summoned from the extra deck. I think that effect that's pretty good against decks that want to activate effects of monsters that they summon, and if they would need to summon something higher than 3300 or 3100 to be able to get over this. Obviously, you can easily out this with something like SP Little Knight, but you know, I think it will hurt certain decks like Dracotel, decks like that. They can't do Arthalion, but they could still send Pan and stuff and pop this card and then continue from there. If he's destroyed, he can special summon a Crimson Blader from the graveyard, which would need to be summoned properly first. So this card is, I think, it's a searcher. It's a searcher. It can be a floodgate. I'll put it in strong behind the field spell. Um, it doesn't. It's not a terrible card. Even if you don't summon it, it can search something. So I think the card is pretty strong generally. And let's go to the final Assault Mode card. Junk Warrior Assault Mode. Level 7 Dark Warrior. Effect Monster. 2800 attack, 1800 defense. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned with Assault Mode activate. Gains 1000 attack for each Assault Mode monster you control. If this card battles a monster, any battle damage it inflicts is doubled. Unaffected by your opponent's activated monster effects. And if this card is destroyed, you can target one Junk Warrior in your graveyard, return it to the extra deck, then you can special summon it. This is treated as a synchro summon. Okay, so 1000 attacks. So this card by itself on the field, it has 3800. And if you have any more assault mode monsters, then it could be 48, 58. That's pretty big. Double battle damage is nice. Unaffected by monster effects. That's a nice effect. Although obviously spell and traps can still get this card or out this card. And then so when it's destroyed, if you have a junk warrior in your graveyard, instead of the junk warrior doesn't even need to be summoned properly because it weirdly returns it to the extra deck, and then you special summon it like if as if it was a synchro summon. So, which I think Junk Warriors has like an effect when he's synchro summoned, he can change levels or something like that. So maybe that's why they're doing that, because if you just special summon him, he wouldn't get his effect. But that gets around the fact that if you somehow attributed Junk Warrior for this, which I think you could do technically with the new field spell, you don't even, it doesn't need to be summoned properly. You just put it back in the extra deck and then you summon it. But this card would need to be destroyed. So if it's sent or banished, obviously it doesn't get that effect. This card is pretty interesting going second. Your opponent would need a spell or trap to out it. They cannot out this with any of their monster effects. So that's kind of an interesting effect. Because of that, I think this card's pretty strong. I don't. It's not great going first, because it doesn't really do anything on the opponent's turn, and all they need to do is find some spell or trap and out it. It's hard. I don't know if I should put it above the Searcher or put it behind the Searcher. I think this card is pretty strong going second, to be honest. But I'll put it behind the Crimson Blader because usually you want to go first, and this card is not really helpful when you go first. So I'll put it behind the Crimson Blader. But I think that it has, unaffected monster effects, double battle damage, high attack. Those are pretty good effects. Um, Now, you would need the field spell to be able to summon either of these cards fairly easily. I don't think it's, I mean, well, someone would activate, you can set it. One of these cards allows you to set it, right? It's the synchro, but you would need to, and it says you can activate it on the turn that you set it, but you would need to have a way to synchro this first, and it's doesn't seem that great. I'm just rating the cards, by themselves. Honestly, based on everything here, now that I've read all the cards, um, I'm rethinking putting them all in strong. So actually, what I'm going to do here, I think they all deserve to be average. I don't think these cards are busted in any way. I initially was putting them in strong, but I don't know if any of these are good enough uh, for to say like, oh, this deck will do something. Um, they're just average cards. I mean, they have good effects, but generally, like thinking about the way assault mode the assault mode activate deck works, even with some of these new effects, it seems like a lot for little. So we'll put all of those in average. And moving on to the final new cards, we have the new Theo Realize Liberation quick play spell. If you control Medius Appear, add to your hand or special summon one monster from your deck with 300 attack and 200 defense. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one face-up monster you control. It is treated as a tuner this turn. So this card um, is it's like a one-up potentially. It's like if you summon Media Superior and it gets negated, you can activate this and get the power patron anyway. Generally, it's not that good. I'll put it in average. I think it would be maybe a one of. Going on to the new Doom Z Changer normal spell. Destroy one Doom Z card in your hand, deck, or face-up field except this card. If this card is destroyed by card effect, you can add a Doom Z card from your graveyard to your hand. Then special summon one Doom Z monster from your hand. This card, I have played a little bit of Doom Z since it has the first cards released in Doom of Dimensions, and I think that this card is helpful, extremely helpful to the deck. Being able to destroy a Doom Z in your deck and then trigger that effect is pretty good. It's not that, it's not like broken, but I definitely think this is a strong card and it will be a 3-up in the Doom Z deck. So I don't hesitate putting this in the strong category. Um, Moving on to the next cards. Let's start from the top here. The new lore archetype, the Elvennotes, Lucina, level 6 fire spellcaster, 2500 attack, 1800 defense. You can special summon this card from your hand to your center main monster zone. During your main phase, you can add one Elvennotes monster from your deck to your hand. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can switch the locations of this card you control and the monsters in your center main monster zone. Then you can return one level 6 or lower monster your opponent controls to the hand. So, this card being able to bounce a card and then it can search, I will put it in strong. It seems like a pretty strong card for this new deck. Let's go read the next one. Elvennotes Diana. We have a level 6 water spellcaster, 2400 attack, 1800 defense. You can special summon it from your hand to your center main monster zone. During the main phase, you can place an Elvennotes continuous spell from your deck on your field face up. During opponent's turn, you can switch the locations of this card you control and the monsters in your center main monster zone, then banish one random card from your opponent's hand face up until the end phase. Banishing a random card from the opponent's hand is extremely strong, and I did not mean to move that. There we go, sorry about that. This card, I think it honestly might be the strongest card here because uh, being able to take cards out of your opponent's hand, even if it's just for one turn, that's one less resource. So I think this card's pretty good. You can also set a or place a continuous spell face up from the deck. Moving on to Elvennotes Fortuna, level 6 light spellcaster, 2200 attack, 1800 defense. You can special it from your hand to the main monster zone. During the main phase, you can place one Elvennotes continuous trap from your hand or deck face up. And during opponent's turn, you can switch locations of this card you control and the monster in your center main monster zone, then return one face-up spell or trap on the field to the hand. This one doesn't have as good of an effect. I think this one is more average. I think it can bounce your spell and traps if maybe you wanted to protect them. And then I think maybe you might want to maybe you can bounce like an opponent's field spell or something. Assuming it can do that, I would need to read it again. Yeah, so you could bounce a field spell and then it wouldn't be able to resolve. That's a decent effect. But in general, I think it's average. We have the Elvennotes Power Patron. This is another Lore deck, part of the Medius, the pure lore. So we have another Power Patron, level 1 Fire Fiend Tuner, 300 attack, 200 defense. You cannot special summon from the extra deck except synchros. During the main phase quick effect, you can target the monster in your center main monster zone, increase level by 3. Then immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon one Elvennotes monster or Genora, the Power Patron of Tuning. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro, you can add an Elvennotes card from your deck to your hand. Just like all of the other Power Patrons, I think this card is decently strong. I will put it at the bottom part of strong because obviously the deck is going to play this card. So far, every Medius deck plays Power Patron or the version that they have, and I think this is another one that you would definitely play. In general, how good do I think this effect is? It's okay. Obviously, you're going to use it to synchro summon into one of these synchros. So let's read the synchros. Genora, the Power Patron of Tuning, level 10, Fire Fiend, 3100 attack, 3800 defense, 1 tuner plus 2 non-tuner monsters. For this card synchro summon, you can treat a monster in your center main monster zone as a tuner. If this card is synchro summon, you can negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls. Quick effect, you can make all opponents' monsters in the same columns as your Elvennotes monsters unable to be used as material for a fusion, synchro, exi, or link summon until the end of this turn. So this is a quick effect. This does require 2 non-tuners. This card is not super easy to make, but it has 2 good effects. Negating all cards on summon is good. And then an effect that you would have to activate where all monsters at that moment that are in the same column as your Elvennotes monsters cannot be used for Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, or Link Summon. It's a good card. I think just like all the other ones, it's not that simple to summon. So generally, um, the card is strong, the effect is strong, but the um, the the resources that you need to summon it, I think, it's a lot. So I'll put it at the top of average. And then let's read the second synchro. 11 notes, Seraphim, still let's see, level 7 fire, plant, synchro, attack, question mark, defense 3000 is generic. And then this card's original type becomes 3000 while in the center main monster zone during the main phase quick effect. You can special summon one level 6 or lower Elvennotes monster from your hand or graveyard. Then you can decrease the levels of all level 4 or higher monsters currently on the field by 3 until the end of this turn. Also, you can now special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except synchro monsters. So this card, a 3000 while in the center main monster zone, okay. Quick effect, bring 11 notes out from the grave, decrease the levels of all level 4 higher monsters by 3, so you could hurt your opponent's monsters if they're trying to play like a rank 4 deck or a rank 3 deck or something like that. Although you can't decrease a level 3 monster by 3 because it would be 0, so I doubt that works like that. But oh no, it says level 4 or higher, so yeah, like even Canine, they would not be able to make their rank 5s if so. That effect is pretty good. I think the reason why it helps you as well is because you need to lower your levels so that you can try to make the bigger synchro. This card is it's not that amazing, but I do think I think it's okay. Well, if it's okay, it probably needs to be an average, but I think this card can really mess up your opponent's plays if they're playing. If they care about the levels, the only decks that don't care about levels usually is like a Link deck, but there's not even that many like that right now, except for like Yummy. But Yummy, you can't even affect their levels with this card. So, but like Canine, yeah, Raizio, yes. It's a pretty good card. I'll put it here we'll put it in front of the Power Patron. Um, it has a pretty good effect. Revive and changing levels, and then helping you try to get into this bigger guy. So, um, yeah, I think that's a fair spot. We have 4 cards left. So, getting into the spell cards, we have Elvennotes Homecoming Parallel. Continuous spell, a monster in your center main monster zone cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can send one monster from your hand or field to the graveyard. Special summon one Elvennotes monster with a different original attribute from your deck in defense position. Then you're locked in the synchros. You can only use that second effect once per turn. This is a special summon from the deck. Card, usually again. Usually effects like this are strong. I will put this in front of the Elvennotes monster. Actually, this is probably the best card of the deck, so we'll put it right there as the strongest. Not only can you summon a monster to the main monster zone if you haven't done that already, you probably wouldn't want to do that because you would still want to summon one from your hand there. But if it has that extra bonus effect of protection, and then it's just summoned from the deck. If it gets Ash, that does kind of suck because you lost a card, but it summons from the deck, so it's a good card. Uh, on page. Okay, next we have Elvennotes Reunion Terset, continuous spell. Your opponent cannot target a monster in your center main monster zone with card effects. This card gains these effects based on the attributes of the monster in your center main monster zone. Fire Earth, if your synchro monster attacks a defense monster, inflict piercing. Water Wind, other fatal spell and traps you control cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. Light and Dark, you take no battle damage. Uh, to be honest, this card doesn't sound that good to me. I mean, it can't be targeted, yeah, but I don't love that effect. None of those effects that the monster gains seem to be that special, at least not in my opinion. I think this card is generally bad. Maybe it might be a one of, but it doesn't sound very good to me. So yeah, that's that card. And then we have 2 cards left. Elvennotes Oracle, Alistia, Continuous Trap. Once per turn, you can target a face-up monster you control, move that monster you control to another of your main monster zones. When your opponent activates a spell with Trap, if you control 3 or more Elvennote monsters, you can negate that effect. Then if you control Synchro, destroy it. Okay, so you need 3 or more. I believe that one of the monsters can place this face up, and then you can move one of your Elvennotes to be able to special summon another one from your hand to the main to the center zone. 3 to negate. This card seems to be okay. They probably play like one of it. I would assume. It's a negation card. I think we'll put it here above this. The monster that can bounce spell and traps. I think this might have been the trap setter as well, but it can negate. You know what? Actually, I think it might be just a little bit better than the sinker, so we'll put it high average. And let's go ahead and get to the final card. 11 notes Maddening Rhapsodia. Your opponent's monsters cannot attack while you have a monster in your center main monster zone except to attack it. And you can send one monster from your hand or field to the grave, target an 11 notes monster in your graveyard with a different original attribute, special summon it. Then if you control Synchro, you can negate the effects of one face-up card your opponent controls. That is also a pretty good effect. Being able to, let's read it one more time. Being able to, your opponent can attack monsters. So if you have a synchro in the middle with the high attack points, they can only attack that one, so they can't even destroy your other 11 note monsters. And then the revival is pretty good. And I keep screen. So the revival is pretty good. I think this card is I don't know if it's on the same level as the other trap, but it's still pretty good because it can negate a card if you control synchro after the revival. I'll put it above the synchro, so both the traps are they're both pretty good. Um, Now let me make sure. Yeah, I'm happy with where everything is at on the list. So to recap, I think the Elvennotes archetype has some pretty strong monsters. Some of the cards are average. Um, I don't know if the deck will, be if it will see competitive play. They have some interesting cards, so we'll just have to see. I like the Doomsday spell. I think that card helps Doomsday a lot. And then the Assault Mode cards they're average, and the Magnet Warrior card is average as well. And then the Wake Up card, honestly, it's not. The Wake Up card isn't really that good. I think after reading some of these other cards, I want to put it down here and at the top of bad. So, yep, that's it. If you agree or disagree or have any comments on any of these cards or you think they should be somewhere else on the list, please let me know in the comments. And thank you for watching. I hope everyone has a good day.